for 100 million. There's no meaningful development that can happen without peace, without us being united.
Arrest all unregistered vehicles.
I think we have shown the depth and breadth of talent in our Conservative Party.
Because you want to prevent a situation whereby that powdery substance will be flushed immediately.
Tell you for a fact that this election is between.
They showed form recently for 100 million. There's no meaningful development that can happen without peace, without us being united.
Arrest all unregistered vehicles.
I think we have shown the depth and breadth of talent in our Conservative Party.
A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Straight Talk right here on Bright Television, the home of talk and entertainment. Don't forget that the program is basically designed to look deep into issues that affect Nigeria as a country and Nigerians as citizens. Welcome to the program. My name is AYOBAMI. ADEYEMO. Kindly follow us on all our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook. Catch us live on YouTube. Make sure you get the TS TV decoder, channel 102 on TS TV Africa. Let's get straight to some conversations in the media space this morning. Just earlier this week, the presidential town hall meeting, which was organized by some organizations, among those who organized is also the media organization, Arise Television, has been at the talking point in the media space this morning. Cases, issues, issue-based conversation on that particular platform, and of course issues that affect security and economy is one of those things that the candidates were being asked questions about. Don't forget about the fact that this country, Nigeria, is just our own country. How do we make it happen? 2023 elections is fast approaching. We need to get the right peg in the right hole. And that is what deliberately we'll be looking at on the program this morning. We'll take a look at some of the activities that happened over the weekend and on Sunday, and how some candidates that were there, how they spoke of the issues that they raised and conversations on that platform. When we come back, we'll be looking at the security economy and how Nigerian youth can actually get the best in this particular season. Stay with us. We'll cross over to that side and back. Don't go away.
Kwankwaso, the presidential candidate of the NNPP. Let me take this opportunity, these 5 minutes, to introduce myself to you. I was born in Kwankwaso, Modobu local government of Kano State. I had my primary education, or I started my education from Kwankwaso Primary School, finished in Gwarzabodum Primary School, then Craft School Udil, Kano Technical College, Kaduna Polytechnic, where I had my OND and HND. Then in 1981, when I finished my service, I left this country for the UK, where I attended various courses in various institutions and universities. I was in Middlesex Polytechnic. I was in Loughborough University of Science and Technology. I was in Nottingham University, where I had my master's. And after my technical education, I joined RECA. I started in 1975. I rose from an artisan, craftsman, technical officer, then engineer, and I left service in 1991 as a principal water engineer. I then joined politics. In 1992, I was member of the House and elected Deputy Speaker of the House of Reps in 1992. I was an elected delegate to the Constitutional Conference in 1994 to 95. I was Governor of Kano State, 1999 to 2003. I was Minister of Defense, then advisor to President on Darfur and Somalia. In 2003 to 2007. 2007, I was appointed a representative of the Northwest Geopolitical Zone in the NDDC, where I left. I resigned because of the negative activities in the NDDC then. And in 2011, I contested the election again and went back to Kano for my second term. In 2015, contested election as a senator representing Kano Central, and of course left the Senate in 2019. In between, I contested in 2015 this same position, presidential position. I lost to President Buhari in Lagos, came second. 2019, I contested with...
Yes, in United Kingdom, that is of note today. I lived there for 10 years. From there, I chaired companies in Nigeria.
Fellow candidates, presidential candidates here today, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abdul Latif Kolawole Abiola. I am a Nigerian of very humble beginnings. I have equally been humbled by events in my life to date. And I have been not just humbled by that, but I've learned a thing or two in that process. I stand here today as a true Nigerian, one that has employed Nigerians and been part of a group that has employed Nigerians in every state of Nigeria. I also stand here as testimony to what it takes to fight and die for Nigeria.
I want to thank all of us for coming this evening. In the first instance, I stand for Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP. And I'm very much aware that there was a communication to him and he's outside the country, and we duly obtained the permission of the organizers of this program for him to be represented. It's a town hall meeting, and that permission was duly given. And I think that that solves the problems of the agitation that was going on. When it's time for debates, we get into debates, but this time it's a town hall meeting. It's about informing the people. Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the PDP, was vice president 1999 to 2007. He's a successful businessman, and he is also somebody who runs a very successful academic institution, and he believes in this country. Atiku Abubakar has asked me to represent him, and we have a document, My Covenant with Nigerians, and it's a common document on behalf of himself, myself, and...
All right, that's Governor Kowa right there representing Atiku Abubakar, People's Democratic Party on that platform. Well, you saw the introduction by many candidates, all the candidates actually that participated on that platform. Talking point. A lot must be talked about, and a lot must be said as we prepare for 2023 election. In fact, the person that will be taking over from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, has a lot on desk already to deal with. And how do we get it right? focus on that. Security and economy, but Nigerian youth must play a major part. To join us, I have great conversation on this line, and of course to look deep into lots more that many Nigerians do not know about, especially when it comes to vocational organizations. We'll be looking at issues in this line, on this line. I'm talking about Ambassador Abraham KWAGHFAN. He's the National Coordinator, National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organization in Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
Most people will want to ask that the association, when they hear National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organizations, what does it stand for? Well, before you talk about that, you watched the presidential town series, the first of its kind by a media organization, Talking Point Security Economy. You will agree with me that anybody that will be the president come 2023 has a lot to do.
Yes,
very well. Let's just start from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I must commend you for giving us this opportunity. We appreciate. First and foremost, Nigeria as a country will have a lot of issues that the person coming on board we have to deal with. And one of those issues is the issue of insecurity, the economic situation of the country, and then unemployment. This is just the few I would just want to talk about. There are so many other issues, the bad roads and so on. But then the person coming on board must be prepared to be able to tackle this. And the person must have a lot of challenges as well, because those who have been in leadership position that have not been able to attend to some of these things, they are still there. And before you know, they'll still find their way into the government.
Again.
So, yes. And the person must be able to stand firm to say no. Because the human being, they use psychology. We use psychology on our leaders. When you're coming in, we watch you and see what you do. Just like when the president was coming in, everybody was watching. In fact, a lot of people became very humble because they were expecting that he's going to do a lot. And when they noticed the first quarter, the second quarter, nothing much was done, they swing into action. And that is why what we're experiencing now is worse than what was happening before. So anybody coming on board, you have to buckle your belt and be prepared to face the challenges. Of a truth, Nigerians, I think we want to do things in a hard way. So if you want a hard leader who can be able to tackle issues headlong without looking back.
Indeed, we need a leader that will tackle the issues. All right, well, as the national coordinator of the National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organization, now you talked about security issue, which is paramount. That's one of the things, of course, it cares investors, even local investors and foreign investors, lives and property of those in our country. Nigeria is paramount. That is what the government is expected to do. But your association also get towards, making sure that you support those that started with responsibility to tackle this insecurity issue. Explain more about this association. What exactly is it? When you're voluntary, you just feel maybe I want to go out and wear uniform and support. What exactly is this?
Thank you very much. National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organization is coming together of different voluntary uniform organizations. The likes of Boys Brigade, Scout Association, Nigerian Gay Guide, Girls Brigade, Man of War, Ahmadiyya, Sheriff Guard, Royal Ambassadors, Royal Shepherd, and so many others. We have over 50 that are affiliated with us. And what we do basically is to support the security agencies in their duties, because you agree with me that the security agencies have a very limited number, but we have a very whole lot of them over there. We're talking of over 14 million membership across the country. And as such, we, in every community, in every village, in every locality, we have at least one or two of our members. In every community. Being it,
so we're going to take all the local governments you have in Nigeria, 774 local governments. You have at least one person representing you right there.
I'm not talking of local government, I'm talking of communities. Yes, every village in Nigeria will have a volunteer there. And I mean it. Being it Boys Brigade, being it Ahmadiyya, being it Scout, you must get at least one person. So what we do basically, we are written to security agencies on several occasions to seek for synergy between us. Because as it is, a lot of our members still believe, we don't want to have anything to do with police. I don't want their trouble. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be involved. Before they will ask you, how do you know? So, but we are trying to let them know, sensitize them. Look, this is our responsibility to assist them, to complement them. Because for Nigeria to be good, people or hands need to be on deck. And where are those hands coming from? I must be prepared to volunteer some information to them. Because where they cannot be able to go, we are there. So we should be able to volunteer information, even in schools. Our members are everywhere. So even in school, if something is happening, we should be able to communicate. But what is a guarantee that after giving this information, we'll be protected?
That's a question, anyway.
Yes, these are some of the challenges, and as such, we feel if the security agencies are willing to synergize with voluntary uniform organization, a lot will be achieved in security.
Well, I want to quote a group. Afenifere mentioned that the federal government should look deep into the security architecture and re-strategize on how they tackle security issue in Nigeria. Many persons, apart from what Afenifere said, in fact, it's been a part of agitation from many groups. They've been talking about restructuring, state policing, community policing, and all what you can mention. Your association, you've been trying to volunteer.
Yes, volunteer.
Volunteer for the progress of every community in Nigeria at large. Are you in support of state policing, community policing? Well, direct question to you now.
Yes, thank you. I think the issue of state police or national police will not be able to solve our problem. Number one, our mindset. If we believed or we agree that we want to make that positive change in Nigeria, whether it's community policing, whether it's in the conventional police, it will still solve this thing. But we must be prepared to change our attitude.
But we have a situation on ground.
Yes.
And the situation requires solution.
Yes.
What can work?
Okay. Now, look at it. If you say we are going with a community state policing, for instance, what is the guarantee that those in authority at the state level will not start using them for their personal gains, to use them and exploit others, to use them to fight to use them as instrument to fight the opponent? These are the challenges. If they go there to do that, it means the enemy is defeated. But if as Nigeria we put Nigeria first and say this is what is right, let me do what is right, and then stand by it, then we can be able to make a progress. So I think we should be looking at what we can do for Nigeria here than using Nigeria for our personal gain. And this has to start from the top and then get to the down.
Well, I ask this question is, to try and see how effective your association is now. You've talked about, having every member of your, at least one of your member of your association in every community in Nigeria.
Yes.
And it has been helpful in some, with what you've said, in disseminating proper information, gathering information for the necessary authorities to work on.
Yes.
If we have a well-structured policing, is your organization not going to be part of it? And if it's going to be part of it, are those people that you talked about, the politicians, are they going to manipulate your organizations to achieve their personal gain? That
is where putting Nigeria first comes on board. They cannot be able to manipulate us because, one, we are not government officials. They can easily use government officials because they have their paymasters. So they easily detect, they say he who pays the pipe detect the tune. So they can easily manipulate that. But the issue of synergy now comes in. If the government is prepared to synergize with the non-government actors, we can be able to work together. When this person, Mr. A, is trying to get it wrong, Mr. B should be able to checkmate him and say, no, this is not right. But in a situation whereby if you try to do that, they'll go after you and then you don't have security, it becomes an issue. But I think for Nigerian security to work, the synergy is very, very important.
Well, synergy is important, integration is important, and we are definitely calling for some community and society that is well secured, where lives and properties do matter most. Well, let's look at youth involvement in this. A lot of Nigerian youth are here, and of course, you're part of the Ministry of Youth and Sports.
Yes.
Headed by Sunday Dari, the minister himself, and of course, in conjunction with the office of the
SGF, yes.
Also, where there is a voluntary service.
Yes, Nigerian National Voluntary Services.
Nigerian National Voluntary Services is also part of that, and it's obvious that as the association, you need funding.
Yeah.
How do you get your funding?
What?
Because you can't just pick Nigerian youth and say, hey, let's go and mobilize ourselves without.
That is one of the major challenges. Before now, the federal government used to give allocation to voluntary organization. But as we speak, it has not been in existence for over how many years? We don't even know the reason. So that is one of the major challenges. So, and that is why some organizations, after looking at this, they say, what is the essence of even participating in the, or even affiliating with the government when we are not benefiting anything from them? You know, so I think government should be able to do more in supporting the voluntary organization. In so doing, they will be able to also come out and give the best. You know, if I'm doing something with you and there's no mutual benefit from my end, why am I into that relationship?
So what motivates you? What motivates your members?
Yes, as it is now, we are Nigerian. We're trying to, in our own little way, see how we can make a positive impact. And trying to make this positive impact, we're not looking at who is motivating or not, but we're trying to see how we can make a mark so that other younger generation can build on it. That is what we're trying to do. And then some of the organizations are faith-based, some are non-faith-based. There are some that are government, that are under church or religious body, mosque and all of that. So some of them get a little funding from them, but there are some that don't even have. They depend on a voluntary contribution, donation, and so on to move. So
your association is an umbrella of all the voluntary voluntary groups or organizations now. Do you have special trainings for those people? For
yes.
every member? Do you have training? Because you know, there's a tendency for any member to just wear a uniform and abuse. We've seen some persons will just be in a uniform and you know start misbehaving, even trying to direct the traffic, still abusing the power given to such person. Do you train your members?
Very well. Each of the organizations affiliated with us, they have their rules and regulations guiding them. But apart from that, when we come together, there are some that maybe they will see army dress gallantly and then they want to do this, they want to, you know, some of such this, we call them to order. Look, this uniform belongs to so people, don't use it. Recently, I was in Oyo State for a program that was last year. We saw some guys dressed with this in bulletproof and all of that. And I asked them, what are you doing with this? You're not in war front. And this is not part of your uniform. Please don't use it. There and then we'll seize it. You know, so some of these things are some of the correction we do as a body. The essence of coming together is to make sure we make impact and then promote volunteerism. So to achieve that, we must instill discipline in our members, and we do that. Apart from that, we have trainings, leadership training. At least in a year, we have 2 programs that benefit the masses. One is for the leaders, and then the second one is the general one that benefit all the members. So we're training them from time to time.
Well, indeed, great job that you do every time, and we must commend you. You mentioned many organizations that are part of your association, the Red Cross, you know, amongst many other ones.
Yes.
I know some, like you already said, are faith-based, some are with health,
based, yes.
Some are governmental-based. Now, for Nigerian youth that are willing, you know, to really have their own, to play their part in making sure Nigeria is better, how do people really get to understand the association that's fitting for their own probably interest?
Okay. Like yes, thank you very much. Like I mentioned before, if you go to other countries, volunteerism is highly rated. But when you come here, nobody look at it. You know, volunteerism is one of those ways that those who have make it in life give back to the society. And in trying to achieve this, you can identify anybody to do that. Like now, you can come through an organization, and if you don't have any platform at all, we can as well make you one of our patrons. And from there, you can be able to contribute your quota. Maybe you see some of these boys don't have uniform, you want to assist them. We are going for community service, you want to assist. Like tomorrow, by God's grace, we'll be in a government secondary school, Kuje. Because we discovered the principal have been doing well, and the school have been also doing well academically. And we want to take our community service there. We'll go there and at least sensitize them on electoral violence, social vices, among other things. It's part of volunteerism. So, assuming you want to come in here, as a this thing, you want, okay, let me volunteer my services and cover this event. It's part of volunteerism. We will not say no.
I like the way you pushed me into or my organization into. Well, that's why we're here. But you know, you mentioned something, and that will take me to the next question. 2023 election, you talked about sensitizing youth and on the things to do during the election. And so what are the roles that you'll be playing? You mentioned this already.
Yes.
What are the other roles that you'll be playing for a free, credible, and fair election come 2023?
Yes, I think basically we have 3 major roles. One, as a citizen, is your right to go and cast your vote. So, okay. Yes, we encourage our members before now to obtain their voters card and go over there and vote. It is your right. So we encourage them, and I want to believe majority of our members have their voters card, PVCs, and they'll be going there to vote. That is number 1. Number 2, we also encourage them to also serve as undercover to the security agencies. While you are there to cast your vote, make sure you don't involve yourself in anything criminal.
But have you approached INEC? Do INEC recognize you?
Yeah, we have written to them, and we are working out. There's a form they say we should fill and so on for to participate as the observers. But beyond that, you know, even if you're not accredited as an observer, wherever you are, remember you have a role to play. Whatever happens there, you should be able to send information. We have a network that whatever happens in Akwa Ibom, you can drop it in our this thing now, our WhatsApp now, and in that WhatsApp we have everybody, all the coordinators across the nation are there with our patrons. So any information you drop there now will go viral, and then we can be able to call on people who are supposed to act to do the needful. So we are prepared to also cooperate with them in this direction to ensure the election is credible, free and fair. And then the third one, we are also still intensifying efforts to make sure we get accredited by the INEC so that we can serve as observers. If this opportunity is given to us, fine, we'll do more in that direction. And then finally on the election, we are still sensitizing our members on their roles, on what is expected of them, because majority of our members are youth. You don't go over there and then because of peanuts go and tarnish your image. You know, you don't need to do that. Your future is very important, and the future of Nigeria is also very important. Therefore, I encourage them, and we keep encouraging them not to involve in anything that will tarnish the image of the organization they belong to and even their own.
All right, well, we go for a short break now. When we return, I see I have my guest in the studio with me. He's the national coordinator of the National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organization, and of course, he's Ambassador Abraham KWAGHFAN. Thank you so much for still staying with us. We'll go for that break.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us, please.
Tell you for a fact that this election is between.
They sold form recently for 100 million. There's no meaningful development that can happen without peace, without us being united.
Arrest all unregistered vehicles.
I think we have shown the depth and breadth of talent in our Conservative Party.
Because you want to prevent a situation whereby that powdery substance will be flushed immediately.
Tell you for a fact that this
so much glad to know you're still with us. Straight Talk right here on Bright Television, Home of Talk and Entertainment. I still have my guest right in the studio with us. He is the National Coordinator, National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organization, and he is Ambassador AYOBAMI. Thank you once again for joining us on the program for today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, behind the scene, we're talking about an ambassador. You're an ambassador of peace, right? Or for peace.
Yeah, ambassador of peace, ambassador of forensic, ambassador of friendship, ambassador of youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's stick to the youth for now. We'll talk about forensic and, of course, friendship and, of course, peace. Where there's security, peace will reign in our community. But let's talk about the youth. Now, for every Nigerian youth that is part of this association, there should be a benefit. There should be an encouragement, because you mentioned foreign countries out there. When you want to give back to your country, you must be able to volunteer and do a lot of things. So voluntary services is critical in organizations or countries, I beg your pardon, that's advanced. Now, in Nigeria, what would be a benefit of anybody that will join this particular organization?
Thank you very much for this wonderful question. I think part of the benefits we are supposed to enjoy from volunteering is, one, we are very good at drill. And the drill is not everybody that does drill. Nigerian Army, Navy, Air Force, Civil Defense, Police, DSS, and other uniform organizations.
Yes.
So we are supposed to be a direct beneficiary of this, because anytime they want a recruitment, they don't need to go and look for people who are not experienced. Already we have this experience, and we've been practicalizing it in our local communities, in our organization.
Do you think they believe in you?
I think some of them believe, because majority of the senior officers in Nigerian Army and Police and this thing have passed in one of these organizations or the other, either Scout or Boys Brigade, Man of War, and so on. So I think they should be able to give back to the society. They should remember where they are coming from. Some of these uniforms that have been making impact, give them opportunities. Look at our boys, the band boys. A lot of them play with Nigerian Army, Air Force, and other ones, but when they come to recruitment, they will abandon them. So they should be encouraged, they should be motivated. So there are others who are not volunteering their services. They are using their energies for illegal things. We know that it's good to identify with this kind of body, because here it makes it easier for you to join any of the security agencies. So I think they should be able to remember this and then give voluntary uniform organizations such opportunities during their recruitment.
I want to ask you, have you approached any of these organizations, of these agencies, security agencies, to actually get them understand how important your point that you just raised now is for every member of your association?
Yes, we have done that before now. We have paid a courtesy visit to the Chief of Defense Staff, who were received by the Director of Civil Military Affairs, and we discussed with them. We even gave them an award, and they gave us assurance they will partner with us from time to time, but since then, nothing again. You know, we have also paid a courtesy visit to the road safety and so on. We have written letters, and we are still doing it as we speak. We are preparing for International Day of Volunteers. The Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports and the FCT flagged it off on the 9th of last month. And we're being on the zonal basis. We were in Ekiti State for the Southwest. We were in Rivers for the South-South. This coming week we'll be in Kano for the Southwest, and then Anambra for the Disin, and so on. And we have written to them to attend the grand finale so that they will see what the uniform organization are doing. The boys, the members, the young ones are eager to participate in it. They are ready to serve their country. So they should be given opportunities. I want to assure you that if, like our band boys, if you engage them today, you don't need to go and start working yourself, because most of them are very good. And instrumentally-wise, we are better than even some of the military personnel. Yes.
Some, they will not take it lightly. They know they are well drilled and groomed.
Yes, yes. So it makes it easier for them to engage them and then spend less to train them. And doing that, you'll be encouraging people. So this person, because he was a boys brigade member, because he was a scout or man or war, he was taken as a military personnel. They will be encouraged, they will be motivated. Let me also do, because I may benefit from it. This is part of encouragement we expect, and some of the benefits we are supposed to enjoy from the government. And apart from that, sir, before now the government gives subvention to voluntary organization, but as we speak, they have stopped. We don't know why. You know, so and some of this motivation, no generation have been given. So if some of these things that we've been benefiting before now, they have reintroduced them, it will motivate. And most importantly, we are looking at government. They should be able to, okay, you say to start another uniform agency, your security agency will be more expensive. What are the Nigerian National Volunteer Services? Bring all of us together and make us like an parasata. National Volunteers Services. They are everywhere. Look at our schools. Posts, nothing is happening. How many security agencies can you post to schools? Keep our members, give them the opportunity to serve in this thing. There are some states, even 10,000 naira you give them, they are ready to work for you for 1 month, and they will give you what you want. So what are we waiting for? You keep complaining there's no money. Meanwhile, people are there to volunteer their services, and there are people that are visible. People you can be able to trace them to their roots. Give them opportunity. They keep complaining, I keep wondering what is happening.
So they're not looking towards the right direction?
Yes.
Is that what you think?
The youth should be given opportunity. And how do you give them opportunity? Okay, we're giving them a blank check. We have over 14 membership across the nation. Use our members.
40 million membership.
Yes. Use our members and post them in schools and other places to help curtail some of these social vices. They will serve as undercover to security agencies and give you the information you need. With this, you spend less, but get more result.
Well, you've said a lot of things, and I'm interested in this particular one. I remember even while I was in school, from the secondary to the tertiary institution, there's a man of war, the cadets, and of course, boys brigade, and Royal Ambassador, just to mention a few of those beautiful, groups that we're talking about. And the impact at that time is so massive that, you want to just join. As a young person, you want to join because you're doing a legal thing. In fact, they're always combating cultism in the society. In schools, yes. How far with that now?
Yeah, it's still happening, and it's still part of what we are pushing for. Like I mentioned before, by God's grace, tomorrow we'll be in a government secondary school, Kuje here. Now, part of what we're going to do is to sensitize them and then seek the approval of the principal to establish some of these organizations in the school. So without members,
you have to catch them young people.
Yes. Okay. Without members, and the way we do is very simple. Now it's not just one organization going. We have more than 10 school-based organizations that are attending the program tomorrow. We want to just go at the end of the day after addressing them and this thing, and we also want to use the opportunity to honor the principal for the good job we have been doing. We now seek the opportunity. If you agree, the members line up. If you want to be boys brigade, join there. If you want to be girls brigade, gear guide, cadet, man or war, line up, and then we take their names, and then we'll continue from there. We have started this. It was flag off last year. We were going on with it until later we have to suspend because of some financial constraint. But we have to working it as part of activities to mark International Day of Volunteers.
Well, interesting indeed. Well, as an ambassador for friendship, you have that's in your coffers. You have also ambassador for peace, right?
Yes,
and you have for youth at the same time. You also have for
forensic.
All right, let's talk about economy. Nigeria is facing its own share of challenges, as the global world is also facing theirs, from the aftermath of COVID-19 to the inflation and many other things. Just lately, many Nigerians have been talking about, in fact, on the media, on the newspapers today, marketers are talking about trying to hike the price, the petrol pump price to some certain things. There's no income flowing into a country. What exactly do you think will be a solution to what the situation is now? It's not peculiar to Nigeria. It's a global phenomenon. Yes. From our own country, we must get out fast, very fast. How do you think we can solve it?
Yes, The challenge of economic situation in our country, first of all, I want to talk about sincerity. And common Nigerian is not sincere to himself. And that is what is causing a lot of issues we're having concerning the economy. Now, everybody is blaming president today. But if you look at it very well, is president actually the problem of Nigeria? The answer is no. Yes. Once there's an increment in fuel, a typical Nigerian who have a shop somewhere, the product he bought years ago, that fuel was not up, he will increase the prices automatically. Why is he doing that? Just because he wants to benefit more. Now, the issue of selfishness comes in.
But some of them will argue with you and tell you that, okay, if I sell this one, I'm still going to the market to buy. So why won't I get the money that I'm still going to use to buy?
Yes, that you agree with it to some point. But then, the one that doesn't have anything to do. Now, just imagine a market woman who goes to farmer, harvest, and without even entering bike, took it to market. He's increasing the price because there's fuel the same. Is he sincere? So we need to think down ourselves if we are sincere to ourselves. That is number one. And then when we are talking of sincerity, we also talk about those in government corridors. The billions they are packing, what are they using it for? When you know, you not even touch some of the money until you get, some of the money are even getting spoiled. I must commend the federal government and the central government for central bank for the policy of changing this currency. At least within the few time, money will be in circulation. Because all those money that have been hidden will come out by fire by force. Yeah.
But experts have also argued that it's dangerous to our economy, because if the money is so much out, it's going to affect some certain lifestyle and, of course, the livelihood and the inflation in our society as we speak. But you know, you mentioned many things. Very importantly, you talked about being sincere, and I'm asked a question of, you know, as an ambassador, you've looked at, you know, Forex, you've looked at, you know, many things. Are we doing well in terms of, you know, trying as much as possible to take the advantage that Forex trade or whatever can give to us in our country? We use it?
We need to improve. We still have a lot of challenges in that regard, particularly in the aspect of production. We are not producing, and that is affecting us. We depend solely on what other people produce and then send to us, whether good or bad. Nigeria is becoming a dumping ground, and that we must work on it. That is why I must commend Mr. President, especially on the issue of import of rice. If you notice, locally produced rice here is making waves in the market today. And we begin to have a good quality rice, even produced in Nigeria here. So you don't necessarily need to go and take a foreign rice before you enjoy your rice. So if we can be able to place embargo on some of other things that we produce in that are being produced outside to Nigeria, other this in the economy will also grow from here. And I think we should also not depend solely on government for production or economic growth, because government have their own role to play, then citizens also have their own role to play. But to balance it up, government should also be reasonable in terms of taxing. The taxes are becoming too many. Like hotel, for instance, hospitality industry. If you have a hotel in Abuja here, you are in trouble.
What do you say that?
Yes. Everybody wants to go to the hotel and collect tax. Tenement rate, water bill, environmental, this. You will not see them go to other organization or, let's say, resident to collect this tax, but they will just gather everything on hotel owners and some few businesses like this thing. That's why businesses are not flourishing in Nigeria, because the taxes are becoming too many.
So will you agree, because part of just this week, the manufacturers also said it in the newspaper that the federal government is chasing manufacturers out of country Nigeria. Is that one of those?
I want to agree with them to some extent, because the cost of taxes is becoming too much. And the unfortunate thing is, after collecting the taxes, are they even accounting for it? Because if what we make from the taxes is enough to finance our budget, but every year we keep borrowing. What happened to the one that the federal revenue is bringing? You know, they will tell us this is how much they raise, and we're not seeing it used in the budget. So we begin to wonder, are they actually using the taxes for the right process? So I think government need to review their taxes and then encourage the manufacturers so that we can have our own product produced in Nigeria, made in Nigeria, should be encouraged.
Well said indeed. But before you go, I'll ask you this question. We know the impact that the flooding has caused in Nigeria, especially to the farmers. Watching some documentary some days ago, and I saw the impact in some states. For example, Jigawa, Bayelsa, just to mention, even Kogi, Lagos State, just to mention, a few places. And the impact is so worrisome because those farmers are saying that they've lost crops and it might affect the food circulation in some years to come. Food security is another challenge that the global space is facing right now. What do you think we can do right now? What can we do right now to start thinking, solving the challenges ahead?
Yes, first and foremost, the government must be prepared to live up to expectation. And they should be able to, Ministry of Agriculture, and then NEMA should be able to intervene in those states that have these challenges and see how they can get support to be able to stand on their feet again. And then secondly, we should be able to prepare ahead. The time of President Goodluck Jonathan, there was this degrading also of River Benue and River Niger. I think we should still think, yes, we should think towards that direction. That will actually help Nigeria. Had it been that was taking place, by now we'll be enjoying it for several reasons. One, economic-wise. Look at Togo, for instance. They have the highest seaport in Africa here, West Africa here. They don't have food, they don't have any other thing. They depend on that to survive. Asigame is one of the biggest markets in Africa today because of the seaport. So if the River Benue and River Niger was expanded or dredged, as they say, by now we'll have some of these ports in Nigeria also, and that will also boost our economy. And apart from that, the issue of water flooding, I think they say is coming from Cameroon. And I want to believe they don't just open this without notifying us. If they have notified us, what action have we taken?
The government said they were not informed, they were not notified. So do we sanction them?
But this has been in existence for some time now. It has happened before. Cautions were not taken and it has happened again. So is it not high time our government should be proactive? Because now it has happened and gone. It will still happen again if care is not taken. So action must be taken to avert some of these situations.
Well said indeed. Thank you so much. I've been having a straight conversation with the National Coordinator of the National Association of Uniform Voluntary Organization and the person of Ambassador Abraham KWAGHFAN. Thank you once again for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
I hope that when we call on you again, because we need to really, talk more on the great job, the great work your association is doing in our country, Nigeria. I hope when we call on you again, you'll be here to
very well, I will come. And just before I take my leave, I want to use this opportunity to invite you and your team and every other Nigerian over there to join us at Art and Culture at Old Parade Ground, Area 10, Garki, Abuja, from 30th of November to 5th of December, where we shall be showcasing the activities of a voluntary uniform organization in Nigeria, the likes of football, band competition, drill competition, and so many others.
Interesting indeed. Well, we'll see how we can follow up on that and, of course, project this activity. Thank you once again for joining.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's the package on today's edition of Straight Talk right here on Bright Television, home of talk and entertainment. There's nothing you would do to add value to the society that will not definitely bring the best to the community at large. And that is why the voluntary organizations are very important. Like we always tell you, we keep telling you that when you play your part, and I play my part, we'll have a better place called the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On behalf of everyone who's been part of the production today, we say a very big thank you. My name is AYOBAMI ADEYEMO. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Goodbye.
election is between.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
They showed form recently for 100 million.
Enjoyed it, sir.
Very well.